Hello, welcome to Nondual Christianity. In this video I want to talk about something that might seem a little crazy and untrue at first glance, but if you stay with me I think you'll realize it is far more true than you would want to believe. And that is, you are always getting what you want most. Now, your first reaction might be, well, that's not true because I want $1 million or a new house or a boyfriend, girlfriend, right? If you stay with that though, what you realize is you want those external things because of how they will make you feel, how you think they will make you feel. I will feel happy. I will feel loved. I will feel at joy. I'll feel at peace, right? And those internal states, which ultimately you're after, you get to choose your internal state because you get to choose how you react to things. So that doesn't mean that you get to choose what emotions you're feeling necessarily, but it does mean you get to choose how you respond to those. And it's in that freedom, the freedom of your own divine self, of choosing how you respond. That is why you always get what you want most, because you create and choose how you want to respond to the world around you. Now, not only do we perhaps get hung up on thinking we want an external thing, when really it's an internal state that we're looking for, but there's two other reasons why this at first glance would seem untrue. The second one is there could be inconsistencies between what external thing you think you want and the internal state. So for example, let's say that you want most a feeling of safety and you think you want $1 million because that will help you feel safe. But if getting that $1 million requires risk and requires you to feel unsafe as you move toward that, there's an inconsistency. You're not going to actually move toward it because that would require you not getting what you want most. Or, and this is almost always true, your ego personality needs to thrive and survive on problems. We talked about this in one of the other videos, Problems Exist. That ego personality has to feel wronged. It has to feel like there's something out of place because that's how it maintains itself. So the more that you believe that you want something and you're not getting it, the stronger the ego is and the more it can survive and thrive. And that's why we typically assume we're not getting what we want, because we're operating from that ego mind space. The Bible talks about this in the story of the rich young ruler. So in that story, he comes up to Jesus. He says, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus gives him commands. The ruler says, "I've done those things." Then Jesus says, "One thing you lack. Go sell everything you have and give to the poor." And the man goes away sad. I think what's being revealed here is what the young man wants most is not eternal life. What he wants most is whatever he's getting from his property, from his wealth. I always took this as a bit of a litmus test of getting into heaven, as an, oh no, if I don't sell everything, if I don't do something extreme or radical, I can't get to heaven. But let's remind ourselves, from the non-dual view, you are already in the kingdom of heaven. You are already the divine essence. You already have and are what you would most hope to be. So this is not about an in-out. This is not about saved or unsaved. This is simply about the Bible exposing and clarifying what we want most. And in this case, the ruler wants whatever his property is giving him most. The Bible talks about this in Matthew 6 and 13, where your treasure is, there your heart is also. Being willing to sacrifice everything for this one thing you want most. See, it's a great mirror to expose to you to help you identify what do you want most. You could also self-examine. You could talk to some friends who would reflect to you. And my challenge is, if you first start with the assumption that you are getting what you want most, then ask yourself, what then does that mean I want? Not, what do I think I want? No, you already have it. So what does that tell you about what you want? See, the beauty of that is now you take the conflict out of it. You release this illusion that the ego thrives on, which is that I'm being wronged or I'm not getting what I want. And you free yourself to actually enjoy and experience whatever it is that you have. And then when you can embrace that, you can ask yourself, is this what I want most, or do I want to change what I want most? It becomes a play. It becomes light. And in the midst of whatever it is that you are enjoying, whether that's something that would seem contradictory, even like I enjoy being miserable, or I enjoy the control I feel from always being wronged, or something along those lines. At some point, you're going to realize that's not ultimately what you want. What you ultimately want is your very being. What you ultimately want is who you already are, who you always have been, your own divine nature. And that's why, even if along the way you are tricked or thinking you want this other thing, it's more efficient to fully embrace and enjoy whatever that artificial or intermediate want is, because ultimately you're searching for your own self. And it is a more efficient search to move along the path from enjoying and embracing want to want to want, instead of being in this locked up, conflicted state of the ego thinking, well, I want these things, but I'm never getting it. And I think that's part of what Jesus is trying to expose in the story of the rich young ruler. Whatever you want most, you're getting. Enjoy it until you realize that what you really want is who you are and what you've already had. Ultimately, you're searching for yourself. You are the divine. Thank you for exploring this with me today.